My name's Claire and I've been involved in the student movement that we saw in the period leading up to Christmas, which Mark spoke about. And I think that as students we've shaken this government of millionaires. They naively believed that the days of mass student protests, of thousands of youth on the streets, of student walkouts and strikes, they believed that those days were over. But how wrong they were. The strength, determination and audacity of the student movement has shocked the government and has hit right at its car. But I think that students who are returning to school, college and university after the break are going to have questions. Why didn't we succeed in defeating the government on fees on December the 9th? And how are we going to build a movement that's capable of defeating them now? And I think that we as a movement are going to need to have answers to this. And I think it's important that we guard against the idea put forward by some on the left that students can go it alone in this struggle. The energy and the dynamism of youth is a powerful force, but on its own it will not be enough to defeat this government. We need the working class, organised in trade unions, ready and willing to take strike action if we want to achieve that. And I think it's important that unity between students and workers is not just a catchphrase, it's something that's built genuinely in action. And I do have to criticise the role that members of Right to Work and the SWP have played within the student movement. Because although they pay lip service to the idea of uniting students and workers, when it came to the crunch, when young trade unionists in PCS and UCU organised a demonstration to a TUC youth rally in Manchester on the 29th of January, rather than mobilising the mass of students and young workers to that event, the attitude of Right to Work and the SWP has been to call a separate demonstration for students in London. And I think that that's an absolute disgrace. What we need... is an anti-cuts body in the UK that's going to put forward the idea that we march together, we fight together and we win together. And I think another thing that our movement must be clear on is the need to fight every cut. No ifs, no buts, no education cuts was the chant that resounded throughout the demonstrations. We must not invite the likes of Andy Burnham to stand on a platform and say that they will oppose cuts when in fact they are happy would not even claim to be against all cuts in the field of education. And my final point I want to make is that it is true, some young people may not yet look to trade unions as the organisations that will lead the struggle against the cuts. They might not understand the role that these organisations need to play. But what better way to show them than to have an anti-cuts campaign with organised workers at its heart, leading the struggle against the condemned government, uniting students, uniting workers and uniting community campaigns. And I'd urge everyone in this room to vote for Resolution 1, vote for an anti-cuts campaign that's capable of defeating this government, and vote for an anti-cuts campaign which will unite students and workers against the government.